I asked Chat GPT to design the perfect Disney vacation, and I'm actually pretty surprised about the results. Let's get into it. Starting off in this video, just want to let you know, I'm a Disney pro, and I'm reacting to Chat GPT's perfect Disney vacation. What we look like we have here is a 5-day Disney vacation. I have cost breakdowns, itineraries for each single day, and we're gonna see if this is actually something that you can use, or at least get some sort of idea about what to expect if this is your first ever Disney trip. So let's get into it. I had to write all this down because I did not want to screw up. So we're gonna start off with day 1. We're going to Magic Kingdom. In my personal opinion, unless you have like multiple days dedicated to parks, so if you have like 5 days dedicated to parks, you can start off Magic Kingdom on that first day. I always like to end my trip on a Magic Kingdom day as well. If you're doing something like a 3 or 4 day trip, me personally, I don't ever start with Magic Kingdom because I want to end there. I always start off with Animal Kingdom. That's just me. It's an easier park to digest, especially if you're just flying in, trying to get over that jet lag, or if you've been flying for 6, 8, 9, 10 hours. Animal Kingdom is just easier, and you can take the rest of the day to relax. So we're going straight into this rope drop. First thing in the morning, it says to take pictures on Main Street. Me personally, I'm not going to worry about taking pictures on Main Street first thing in the morning. If I'm rope dropping, it's for a reason. I want to get to certain rides or certain areas first. So I'm going to head over to something like maybe the Tomorrowland entrance, or like trying to get towards Fantasyland to go ride Seven Dwarfs, probably that, or Space Mountain. So the first rides that it tells us to do in the morning: Seven Dwarfs Mine Ride, Space Mountain, Peter Pan. I'm saving Peter Pan for a much later time in the day, maybe really close to park end, or I'm just watching on the app to make sure that maybe the wait time goes down. I wouldn't waste my morning on a Peter Pan. There's other things that I could do in Fantasyland or Tomorrowland after doing a Seven Dwarfs or Space Mountain. It says lunch, we're going to have it at Be Our Guest. What this doesn't take into account, like to get Be Our Guest reservations, you're going to have to do a lot of planning. So to try to really get those reservations. That evening, we go into Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, and Splash Mountain, and then some character meet and greets. Finishing the day off at Liberty Tree Tavern for dinner and fireworks. Look, overall, this isn't a bad breakdown, but what you're only like getting out of this is 6 rides, realistically. I guess this is saying that, hey, look, maybe we should really aim to get these rides done and then sporadically add the other ones in. But I'm going to do a little bit more planning. Me, if I'm going to start my day off, maybe at Seven Dwarfs or Space Mountain. If I'm finishing with Space Mountain, I'm going to hit up things like Space Ranger Spin, the People Mover, maybe World of Progress, something like that. If I'm in Fantasyland, I'm going to take advantage of possibly knocking out maybe like Barnstormer. I'm also going to take advantage of possibly maybe jumping on the train, that or Winnie the Pooh or the teacups. Like, I'm going to hit those areas up as quickly as possible, especially if I'm rope dropping, to take advantage of 0 wait. So then in the afternoon, I can stay in an area that has Pirates, Haunted, and Splash Mountain. What it doesn't have on here is Big Thunder Mountain. So I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. This is just kind of like an idea of like, hey, these are the rides that you should probably aim for. Maybe aim to get 6 to 7 done and hope to get more. Maybe. I would probably say, in my personal opinion, I would aim to get more in the neighborhood of 10 done. And then whatever's extra is extra at that point. We're going to go into day 2. Day 2 is Epcot. We're rope dropping straight to Frozen. 100% agree with that. Frozen is typically the busiest ride in the park outside of like Guardians now. From there, it's telling us to go to Soarin', Test Track, and Spaceship first thing in the morning, and then lunch at Sunshine Seasons inside the land. I'm going to be a little bit more technical here. If I'm leaving from Frozen, I'm probably going to head straight into Test Track. From there, I'm going to do, it says Soarin', Test Track, Spaceship, Earth. That's what it was, sorry. So I'm going to hit Test Track, and then I'm probably going to do like a Mission Space on top of that because it's right there. Knock those out. I'm not doing Spaceship Earth early in the morning. The lines are typically really long because people kind of crowd that area first because it's the first thing you see. I'm waiting till much later in the day well after 1 o'clock to kind of hit that ride. And then I would make my way over to Soarin' and then ride the rides that are also associated inside the land, since I'm going to be having lunch there. And then maybe the first thing I do after that, or right before I go to Soarin', is I might hit up something like a Nemo, Under the Sea with Nemo and Friends, or maybe a Figment, or possibly both, depending on the wait times. Those rides typically have 0, maybe a little bit of a wait. So knocking those out before I go to lunch leaves the majority of the afternoon for me to do things. Like the showcase. In the afternoon, it says the attractions that we're going to be doing is the World Showcase primarily, so you're really not getting that many rides done. It says must-dos is the Mexico Pavilion, Japan, France. I think those are phenomenal. I think those are top tier, especially because you knocked out Frozen first thing in the morning. With that, you're going to be riding Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, going to dinner at La Cellier in Canada, and then ending the night with fireworks. I'm not opposed to this. I think this is a smart play. Knock out the rides early in the morning. I think you still should get more out of that. So, in my personal opinion, you should be able to get way more done inside of Epcot. In Mexico, you're going to be able to take advantage of the ride there. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, that's always a, could be super busy, could not be. But I would really make sure you're watching your times on the app to see when you should take advantage of that ride. And what this itinerary does not have is lightning lane. So you could have things like planned out, like I'm going to buy a lightning lane instead of a virtual queue for things like Guardians, things like Remy's, or things like Frozen. So it just depends on the advantages that you get to take out of that as well. Day 3, we're going into Disney's Hollywood Studios. It says the first thing that we should do at Rope Drop is head to Galaxy's Edge. Smart move here. That gives us straight into Rise of the Resistance, Smuggler's Run, heading back to Toy Story as well. So in my personal opinion, first thing that you're doing is going to Galaxy's Edge, trying to get on Rise. Smuggler's Run sometimes is down, sometimes is not. I would also take advantage of Smuggler's Run when it comes to a single rider line. For those that maybe don't want to ride that ride, or realistically, even with a family of 4, beg you have like small kids, maybe not. But take advantage of the single rider line there. Knock out maybe like a Star Tours after that. It says Slinky Dog first thing in the morning. If you can get all 3 of those rides done that early in the morning, kudos to you, because that's not easy by any means. You might end up having to get like a lightning lane for at least one of those. Going into lunch after that, it says we're going to eat at Docking Bay 7 inside of Galaxy's Edge, so I would stay close to where you are after riding those rides. And then your attractions in the afternoon, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, and shows like Indiana Jones. You're missing Mickey's and Minnie's. You're not hitting Toy Story Mania. You're not hitting Alien Swirling Saucers. Like Star Tours is not on here. So what you need to do is realistically pay attention to the app to check the times to see where should I go inside the park. If I'm over at Rise and Smuggler's Runs, I'm going to hit things like a Star Tours. I might take advantage of Indiana Jones because of the times of days. Like if you wait too late in the afternoon, you might not be able to watch that show. And then going into Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, I might have to get a lightning lane for Mickey's and Minnie's at some point. Like that is something that this also doesn't account for cost-wise, is Disney Genie Plus. In the afternoon here, we're hitting 50's Primetime Cafe for dinner. Big fan of that. Love that. Would not probably change that. Again, trying to get maybe some reservations might be a little bit hard for you. The nighttime show, ending your night with Fantasmic if it's available. Look, I love Fantasmic, and I would argue that that is a must-see for anyone that's never been there before. Day 4, Animal Kingdom. Again, I would put this way early in my trip. Just my opinion. It's an easier park to digest. You can get more done with the possibility of park hopping somewhere else. Also, each one of these days are a park hopper, but we're not really taking advantage of the park hopper option on this itinerary, even though we're paying for it. So, a little confusing as to what the itinerary has for us if you're not taking advantage of that park hopping option. So, Day 4, Animal Kingdom, rope drop to Pandora. Again, that is a huge plus for this. It's the busiest part of the park. I'm gonna go straight to Flight of Passage. It is always the busiest ride in this park. Knocking out Navi River Journey, smart because you're over there. And then it says to head to Expedition Everest. Possibly, depending on like how much time you have, how many people are at the park, maybe taking advantage of a single rider line, waiting later in the afternoon maybe, because what I realistically want to do is maybe if I'm knocking out Pandora's Flight, doing Navi River, I might want to do something like the safaris, because it's earlier in the morning, the animals are probably going to be more awake at that time, so I want to see the animals. That might be something that I'd probably focus on for me. Lunch at Satuli Canteen over in Pandora, smart because you're already over there. I wouldn't, if I'm going to have lunch over in Pandora, I'm not going to Everest that morning. Attractions, we have in the afternoon, safaris, Kali River Rapids, Dinosaur, and then shows like Lion King and Finding Nemo. Again, I'd probably bump safaris up, move Expedition Everest down. Kali River Rapids would probably be like the last thing I do, because I don't want to get soaked and have to be walking around or go see a show, God forbid, being soaked. So Dinosaur, safaris, Dinosaur and Everest, because they're close. I'm going to do those pretty much right there in the afternoon. Again, there's not that many attractions over in Animal Kingdom as of now. We don't have any updates on when things are coming in yet. So I think that's smart. Those two in the afternoon, then maybe a show if you have the time, such as Lion King, Finding Nemo. Pay attention to the times on the apps because they're limited on when you can actually get into those shows. And then finishing my day with Kali River Rapids and still having plenty of time to go do other things. It's saying that you're going to have to do dinner at this point. You're taking a lot of time here that maybe you realistically don't have to. You can go to maybe like the conservation station. That's going to take a little bit more time if you have kids that would like to see stuff like that. But all in all, I would say you can knock this out and get all this done before 2 o'clock. And you don't even have to have dinner at Tiffin's. That's what it says we're having. And then nighttime show, Rivers of Light, again, if that's available. But realistically, I'm probably not staying all the way to close for Animal Kingdom, and I'm probably not having dinner there. I'm going to take advantage of other parks or something like a Disney Springs or something like that. And then day 5. This says it's a relaxing park hopping day. So you're paying for Park Hopper all 5 days, but you're just now using it. And it's saying, hey, go to a park that you missed or want to revisit. Hit missed attractions, meet characters. Well, here's the thing. Looking at the itinerary, you missed a lot. So I don't necessarily think that you're going to actually be able to get all this done unless you know what you're doing. Like, that's a huge feat. Go meet characters. Okay, you're going to grab lunch at one of the quick services wherever you are. And then it says in the afternoon, we're going to resort hop, relax in your hotel, go to Disney Springs, have dinner at Disney Springs, a nighttime show, either entertainment inside of Disney Springs or you're going back to a park. That is a lot. That you cannot do. I'm just going to be honest, not as a first timer, even someone that's a Disney Pro, that's going to take a lot out of you. And like, it's supposed to be a relaxing day? No way. That's not a relaxing day. Again, I'm going to take advantage of my Park Hopper option throughout the entirety of the trip. And I'm going to go have lunch at different parks. I'm going to have dinner at different parks. I'm going to be really concise with what I'm doing throughout my day to make sure I get the rides done that I want to get done, and then go and finish maybe with a couple hours or a few hours every single night in the afternoon at different parks that I want to see. Or maybe I go to something like an Animal Kingdom in the morning, finish at Epcot, get most of Epcot done. That gives me a lot of playtime throughout the rest of my trip to get more done while at the parks. So this itinerary is not bad. What I would say is it gives you kind of like an expectation on how to set up your days, but just realize that there's a lot more that goes into these trips to take advantage of what you're paying for. And that's what we're going to get into next, because realistically, you're paying a lot of money. And if you went strictly off of this itinerary, hoping that you would get everything you want done, realistically, you're not. You're going to be really disappointed, and you're spending a lot of money for no reason. Okay, so let's get into the cost breakdown. We're going to be starting off with your travel. That is to get to Disney World over in Florida. So we're saying if you have to fly, it's around $300 per person. And this is a family of 4, so $1,200. If it's gas, significant savings there. I mean, you might only spend $300 total on gas to get there, depending on where you're coming from. Transportation, and this is from the airport. If it's transportation from the airport, It's estimating about $100 for the shuttle. I'm going to say that's probably accurate. Your flights, I would probably say is accurate, maybe a little bit more, unless you fly all the time, you have a bunch of perks and stuff like that where you might get some discounts, or maybe you're flying something like a Spirit Airlines where you're going to get relatively good fees. Disney transportation, of course, is free. Your hotel stay, it's saying that we're staying at a moderate resort, which is Port Orleans, roughly running about $300 per night. Totaling for 5 days is about $1,500. That's, I was going to say, pretty accurate. Looking at the prices right now for June, which is pretty crazy, it's $305 per night. So AI pretty much got that spot on, which is awesome. The tickets, however, there's a bit of a discrepancy. And then your meal breakdown, I would also say there's a big way to save money here. So it's saying your ticket breakdown is roughly $2,360, estimating per adult $600, which is $1,200, per child $580, which is $1,160, bringing you a grand total of $2,360. I just priced this out for June. For the same kid ages, for the same adults, it's $3,011. The big discrepancy here is what AI provides for cost for meals. So it's saying $15 per person for breakfast every single day for 5 days is $300. For lunch, $20 per person over 5 days is $800. Your dinner is $50 per person over 5 days, which is $1,000. And then your character meal that you're going to be doing at least one time is $280, bringing you a grand total of $1,940. Listen, if you're going to be spending almost $2,000 on meals on your itinerary, please do not do that. I want you to go ahead and buy the meal plan. You're going to get way more out of it. There's 2 tiers. You can buy the deluxe tier for $1,500 and still save money and get everything else you want. So please, for the love of God, if you're going to be spending that much money on meals and you have it planned out, just buy the dining plan. Souvenirs and extras, it's saying that per person you're going to spend $50 for 4. That's $200. I'm probably going to say it's more than that. Realistically, there's going to be things that you want to buy that's going to come up that you're just like, oh, I got to have that. I got to have this. Or if you buy something like a lightsaber, that blows that entire budget already because it's already $200. So please, I would estimate more than that, maybe double that for a family of 4. Realistically, additional snacks, and this is if you're not buying the Disney dining plan, you're going to be spending $10 per person, which is $200 extra. It says the miscellaneous fees here, such as like photo pass and extras, is $100. Photo pass is not $100. Photo pass is almost $200, and that's buying it beforehand. So that's a really bad estimation there. Your extra miscellaneous could be $100, but it's not including photo pass. So we're going to include that in your cost. All right, so here's the grand total for AI. AI breaks this down to estimate around $7,600. Way off. We are way off here. For a family of 4 over 5 days, I just did this, and this is saying that, hey, look, I'm not using someone who like a Disney travel agent. I don't know how to get extra perks. Like, this is just someone booking this on their own that they don't understand what's going on and how to get the cost down. So your hotel cost would be $1,525, a little bit more than what AI predicted, but close. Your tickets are going to be $3,011, almost $1,000 more. Your memory maker on top of that is $185. Pre-tax, that's $4,721. After tax, you're looking about $5,230 here. Your flights, we're gonna leave it the same, $1,200, because I don't know what people's kind of things are when it comes to their flight capabilities. $1,200. Transportation from there, about $100. You could again cut that down if you're driving significantly because you're only going to be buying gas. Your meals, for me, I'm going, hey, look, if you're going to be spending $2,000 on your meals, you might as well buy the meal plan. It's going to save you probably $500. So get you around $1,500. Your souvenirs, I'm going to push it to the higher end, doubling what they say, what AI says, at $200 to at least $400. If you can splurge more, please save more over your time frame before going. If you can get closer to maybe somewhere between $600 and $800. I know that sounds absolutely astronomical, but trust me, Disney offers so many things that you just don't realize that you're going to want while you're there. And the grand total from a Disney Pro that is doing this basically blind, that this is the first time someone's going, that is not utilizing this, is around $11,614. That covers the same trip that AI is giving you, but I'm also telling you, you can do a lot more with what AI is not giving you. So, can you get this number down? Yeah, you could absolutely get this number down. I would say you could probably get this number well below 10 grand, maybe closer to that $9,000 value. And maybe lower if you go, hey, look, I'm going to drive instead of fly. Because that's going to knock off somewhere between $900 and $1,000. So that already gets you down to $10,000. From there, take advantage of downtimes per se. They're not busy season. That's going to lower your ticket prices. Also, take advantage of discount seasons where maybe they're offering a dining plan for free, or you get 30% off on your hotels, or they're offering a 4-night or a 5-night stay plus tickets at a discounted rate. And then overall, use a Disney travel agent. Like, you are going to save so much money and time and headache by using a Disney travel agent, because what this is not including is that I have to get all my reservations booked. I have to know what, like, it's so much that goes into planning a trip like this. I mean, you got to think, you're spending almost 10 grand for a family of 4. There's a lot that goes, you're not just like showing up and hoping to get things done. Like, there's a lot that goes into this. So I would always consult with an expert, a Disney Pro, if you would, whether it's a travel agent or someone that's like me, to realistically get the most bang for your buck out of this. The AI itinerary and cost breakdown kind of gives you like an estimation on maybe what to expect. And you go, all right, they're telling me it's going to be around $7,000. I'm probably going to go, I need to get more out of my trip. It's probably going to be more than that. So realistically, it's not a bad thing. AI's itinerary and cost breakdown, not terrible. Just know you can get way more out of your trip. If you guys enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button. I have more content that comes out like this weekly. But for now, go out, be you, be great, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.